Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, IGCSE Biology Help. In today's video, I'm going to be solving the Biology Paper 2, Extended May-June 2023, Variant 1. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and like my videos to get more content like this. Let's start solving. Question number 1 says, what are the characteristics of all organisms? As we all know from the Mrs. Grin, which stands for movement, respiration, sensitivity, growth, reproduction, excretion, and nutrition, we're going to choose two of the characteristics from Mrs. Gren. So this is going to be C, excretion and nutrition. Number 2, the scientific name for the golden eagle is something. What is the genus of the golden eagle? As we all know that the genus is the first name that comes here, and it's always in capital letter. It starts with a capital letter and it's in italics. So our answer is going to be A. Question number 3, which row shows structures that are present in both root hair cells and palisade mesophyll cells? As we all know that they are both plant cells, so they will both have cell walls. But the difference is that the root hair cells are in the roots of a plant and they don't get exposed to sunlight, so they don't need to have chloroplasts. So our answer is going to be C, because that's the only option where chloroplasts are not present in both. They are only present in the palisade mesophyll cells, and also the cytoplasm, of course, and the vacuole are present because they are plant cells. Number 4, the photomicrograph shows a plant cell. The length of line XY is 90 millimeters. The actual length of the cell is 30 micrometers. What is the magnification of the photomicrograph? So this is a magnification question, just like the questions that I have explained in my paper 6 videos. You can check them out if you want. So to solve this question, we're going to be using the I-AM triangle. This is the I stands for image, the A stands for the actual size, and the M, of course, stands for the magnification. So we're going to be dividing the image size, which is the 90 millimeters, over the actual size, which is 30 micrometers. So we have to first change the millimeters to the micrometers by multiplying by 1000. This is going to give us 90,000, and we're going to divide the 90,000 over 30. We are doing this step so we can make both of the units the same units. You can also convert if you want the micrometers to millimeters, but I recommend, and it's much easier to convert from millimeters to micrometers. We're going to be dividing those numbers together and they're going to give us 3,000, so our answer is going to be B. Number 5, the diagram shows an experiment demonstrating osmosis using a dialysis tubing bag. After 30 minutes, the level of the liquid in the glass tube goes, number 1, because the water had 2 water potential than the sugar solution. So this is an osmosis question. So the water is actually the high water potential over here, and the sugar solution is our low water potential. So we know that the osmosis moves from high water potential to low water potential, and this is the glass tube where the water will increase or decrease according to the question. So over here it says the level of the liquid in the glass tube will increase. This is because we know that it goes from high to low concentration. So the water will enter into this dialysis tubing bag and it will increase the amount of water inside, which will increase our level of water over here. So it's going to go up, not down. And it's also, the water has a higher water potential than the sugar solution. So our answer is actually going to be D. 6, the diagram shows the movement of glucose molecules across a cell membrane. Which statement describes molecule T? This is actually the carrier protein. So this is a protein that works according to the active transport because it needs energy. So it is actually against a concentration gradient. So our answer is going to be D. 7, the diagram shows part of a protein molecule. What does X represent? This is actually the amino acids. 8, the structure of DNA involves 2 strands coiled together to form a double helix. Which pairing of bases between the 2 strands is correct? As we all know that the A always binds with the T and the C always binds with the G. So our answer is going to be B. Number 9, what is correct for all enzymes? Of course, they are not all sugars, and they are not not all of the enzymes are most effective at pH 7 because we have enzymes like trypsin that are present in our stomach that work at very acidic pHs such as pH 2 and 3. So our answer is going to be D. 10. Which statement about human enzymes is correct when they are at temperatures above 80? So we know that they will become denatured, so our answer is going to be A. An experiment is set up to investigate gas exchange in aquatic plants. The hydrogen carbonate indicator is orange at the start. Which color is it after 3 hours? So we actually know that photosynthesis will occur, and when it occurs there will be oxygen produced, which will turn the indicator into purple. So our answer is going to be C. 12. Certain factors are needed for photosynthesis. If a factor is short in supply, it limits the rate of photosynthesis. Which of these could be limiting factors? So we know that photosynthesis needs carbon dioxide to occur, and it also needs a certain light intensity. So our answer is going to be, we're going to be choosing 1 and 3. So this is actually B. 13. The hemoglobin concentration in the blood of a person is 80 grams per decimeter. The accepted normal concentration is 120 grams per decimeter cubed or above. Which substance may be lacking in their diet? So we know that in order to have healthy hemoglobin and healthy blood, you need iron. So our answer is going to be D. 14. Which statement about physical digestion is correct? A says it increases the surface area of food. This is a correct statement, and this is actually the use of physical digestion. B says it involves enzymes. This is an incorrect statement because the involving of enzymes is only present in chemical digestion. C says it takes place in the mouth only. This is an incorrect statement because it also takes place in the stomach and the small intestine. D says it produces smaller molecules. Again, this is an incorrect statement because it's not affecting the molecule size, it affects the physical size. So our answer is going to be A. 15. Which statement describes the effect of atmospheric humidity on the rate of transpiration? A says in high humidity the transpiration rate is high because there is slow diffusion of water vapor through the stomata. This is an incorrect statement because the transpiration rate in high humidity is actually low, not high. B says in high humidity the transpiration rate is low because there is rapid diffusion of water vapor through the stomata. When the transpiration rate is low, there is not rapid diffusion of water vapor, there is slow diffusion. So also this is an incorrect answer. Let's read C. In low humidity, the transpiration rate is high because there is rapid diffusion of water vapor through the stomata. This is a correct statement because in low humidity, the transpiration rate is high, and also there is rapid diffusion as a result of that. So our answer is going to be C. 16. Sucrose and amino acids move around a plant from sources to sinks. Which row shows the sources and the sinks? So we know that the root cortex cells can actually act as both a source and a sink. This is because they provide nutrients from the root to the plant, and also they can act as a sink because they receive nutrients from the plant so they can perform their functions. And the xylem vessels are actually a transportation vessel. So they are not a source or a sink. They are neither. Palisade mesophyll cells are sources, of course, because this is where the main photosynthesis occurs, and this provides the glucose and everything for the plant. So our answer is going to be A. 17. Which statements describe how the structures in a circulatory system function? Number 1 says a muscular pump to push blood into the vessels. This is a correct statement, so we're going to be ticking that. 2. Valves ensure one-way blood flow. This is again correct. 3 says veins take the blood away from the heart. This is an incorrect statement because the arteries are the ones that take away the blood from the heart, not the veins. This is an incorrect statement. Vessels to return blood to the heart. This is the veins actually, not the arteries. So also this is a correct answer. So our answer is going to be B. 18. The diagram shows a section through the heart. Which part is the septum? So we know that the septum is in the middle of the heart over here in this area. So our answer is going to be C. 19. That cholera bacterium toxin causes dehydration and loss of salts from the blood in humans. Which statement explains a reason for this? So A says chloride ions are secreted into the small intestine where they increase the water potential. This is an incorrect statement because chloride ions don't increase the water potential in the blood. B says chloride ions are secreted into the small intestine, which causes water to move into the intestine by osmosis. This is a correct statement because we know that the osmosis moves from high concentration to low concentration, and so the high concentration or the high water potential is the water. It will move to the low water potential, which is the chloride ions, so that will cause the dehydration and loss of salts. So our answer is going to be B. Question number 20. During inspiration, the processes listed take place. B, volume of the thorax increases. Q says the air rushes into the lungs. R, pressure in the thorax decreases. S, external intercostal muscles contract. T, diaphragm moves down. Ribs move upwards and outwards. What is the correct sequence for these processes? So we know that it all starts with S, that is the external intercostal muscles contraction, so A and C will not be included in our answers. So we know that after that, when the external intercostal muscles contract, that means that the diaphragm will move down and the ribs move upwards and outwards. This increases the volume of the thorax, which means more air will enter. The pressure in the thorax decreases because, as we all know, that the pressure and the volume are indirectly proportional. They are the opposite. And then lastly, the air rushes into the lungs. So our answer is going to be B. 21. In the chemical equation for anaerobic respiration in yeast, the numbers have been replaced by the letters W, X, Y, and Z. Which number is Z? We know that over here they're talking about the number of the H. This is actually 5 because we know that the alcohol is C2H5OH. This is the hydroxide plus the carbon dioxide, and they have balanced the equation. So our answer is going to be 5. 22. A student measured their oxygen consumption before, during, and after exercise. The results are shown in the graph. At which time is the oxygen depth being removed? So we can see we're going to be looking at the point where the oxygen consumption really decreased and it started to fall off like this. This is from the minute 15 to 20, so our answer is going to be C. 23. Which row shows where glucose will be found in the body of a healthy human after eating a meal? So we know that if there is a healthy kidney and a healthy body, then the glucose will never be found at the ureter. It can be found in all places from the renal artery until the nephron. It's okay if it's a healthy body and a healthy kidney, but in the ureter, if there is glucose found, then this indicates a problem with the kidney. So our answer is going to be C. 24. The events listed involve neurotransmitter molecules at a synapse. 1. They bind with the receptor proteins, they diffuse across the synaptic gap, they enter the synaptic gap, and they are released from the vesicles. What is the sequence of events that occur when an impulse arrives at the synapse? So we know that the first thing that should happen is that the impulse should be released, first of all, from the vesicles. So C and A are not correct answers because they don't begin with number 4. So after that, they should enter to the synaptic gap, and from there they will diffuse across the synaptic gap so that they can bind with the receptor proteins. So our answer is going to be D because this is with the sequence of correct events. 25. What occurs during accommodation to focus on distant objects? Actually, the ciliary muscles always relax, and the lens shape is thin, and all the suspensory ligaments are tight. So our answer is going to be B. 26. What is the correct statement about auxin in shoots? A says it is made only on the shaded side of the shoot. This is an incorrect statement because it's not always the case. Like sometimes if the sun or the light is on top of the leaf itself, then it will be evenly spread out even if it is not in a shaded area. B says it is more concentrated on the side of the shoot that receives the most light. Again, this is incorrect because auxin is like it runs away from the light, or it is in the opposite side of the light sometimes if it's coming from one direction only. C, it moves through the shoot by osmosis. This is incorrect. D says it stimulates cell elongation. This is a correct statement, so our answer is going to be D. 27. What is a correct statement about antibiotics? A says bacteria may become resistant to antibiotics as a result of artificial selection. This is an incorrect statement. It should be actually natural selection. So our answer is going to be B. Potatoes are stem tubers. A tuber can be placed in the ground to grow into another plant, which can grow many more tubers. The diploid number of potato plant is 24. How many chromosomes will be there in the cells of the stem, the leaf, and the pollen? We know that the pollen is a sex chromosome, so it will have the haploid number, which is 24 divided by 2, or half of the 24, which is 12. The rest of the chromosomes will contain the normal diploid number, so our answer is going to be A. 29. Which row about asexual reproduction is correct? The number of parents is always 1 in the asexual reproduction because this is the type of reproduction that occurs without having a mate. It is only from one parent. The offspring is identical to the parent and they are also identical to each other. So our answer is going to be B. 30. The statements describe how a protein is made. 1 says mRNA passes through a ribosome. 2 says mRNA molecules carry a copy of the gene to the cytoplasm. 3 says the gene coding for the protein is copied into the nucleus. 4 is the ribosomes assemble amino acids into proteins. So first of all, for this process to occur, the gene coding for the protein is copied into the nucleus. This is our first step because the first step is copying the gene into the nucleus. And the second step is the mRNA molecules carry a copy of the gene to the cytoplasm. And we know that the messenger RNA are the molecules that contain a copy of the code for the gene of the protein. They transport it to a ribosome, and these ribosomes will assemble the amino acids into protein. Our answer is going to be D. 31. Which parents could produce offspring with blood group O? Heterozygous father with a blood group A and a heterozygous mother with blood group B. So a heterozygous father with blood group A is AO and the other one is BO. Let's cross them together. A with the B will give us AB, and the A with the O will give us AO over here, and the B and the O will give us BO, and the O and the O will give us an O, blood group O. So our answer is going to be A because we got the blood group O. 32. The diagram shows the inheritance of albinism in one family. Albinism is an inherited condition caused by a recessive allele. Which individuals must be heterozygous for this condition? So over here we have the first generation, which is 1 and 2. They have given birth to 4 and 5. 4 got married to a person with albinism and they give birth to an unaffected male. So number 5 and 6, they are both unaffected and they gave birth to a female with albinism. So both of them must be heterozygous because, for example, if we have the A small is the recessive, and AA over here, we cross them together, you get AA, for example, and another one which is heterozygous, and you have heterozygous another person, and there is a chance that they will get a child with albinism. So they must both be heterozygous so that they will get a person with albinism. If it's not if it's homozygous, then they will not get a person with albinism. Also, the last thing is number 7 could also be heterozygous because one of their parent has albinism. So of course they may have the gene in their gene pool. So number 5, 6, and 7, they are heterozygous. So our answer is going to be C. 33. Which term is genetic change? This is mutation. 34. Which adaptation may be present in a xerophyte? A says leaves with small surface area and large numbers of stomata. This is an incorrect statement. B says little or no xylem and leaves with large surface area. They don't have large surface area. C says tomato hairs and rolled leaves. This is a correct statement. They have rolled leaves. This is a distinctive feature of the xerophytes actually. So our answer is going to be C. 35. The diagram shows the energy flow from the sun through a food chain and into the environment. What is the form of energy for each numbered row? So we know that number 1 is actually light energy because the sun gives out light energy. And from animal to animal, this is chemical energy. So our answer is going to be C. 36. A few yeast cells were placed in a container of nutrient solution. The graph shows how their population size changed over time. Which row shows when the reproduction rate was greater than the death rate for the numbered phases on the graph? So how do we know if, from the drawing, how do we know if the reproduction rate is greater than the death rate? The graph will go upwards like this. And if the reproduction rate is equal to the death rate, then it will be like this, like as a straight line or a line. So number 1 and 2 indicates that the reproduction rate is greater because the graph is going up. Number 3 indicates that they are equal. The death rate and the reproduction rate is equal in this phase. And over here, the death rate is actually higher than the reproduction rate because the population size is decreasing. So this indicates that there is more death than birth. So our answer is going to be B. 37. The number of Atlantic bluefin tuna fish found in the Atlantic Ocean has significantly decreased in the last 50 years. Which method would make the biggest improvement in the conservation of tuna fish stocks? Now, in this question, the key word is the word biggest. Some of these methods may work, but they will work on a small scale compared to others. So let's read the questions. A says decreasing the size of holes in fishing nets. Now, this will work on a small scale because it will decrease the amount of small fish being fished, but it will allow larger fish to be fished still. So this will affect the reproduction in the sea and may decrease the population. B says genetic modification of tuna. This will take a long time to work because it will require natural selection for all the fish in the sea to become only genetic modified. So this will not work. C says introducing fishing quotas. Now this means that the guards, or there is a law that allows fishers to only fish in a certain time or in a certain place, or some places are not allowed to be fished in. Now this is it can be bypassed, or some people may break the law, but most of the fishers will actually implement this and they will follow it. So this will decrease the amount of fishing that is in this area, or decrease the amount of fishing of the tuna. Our answer is going to be C. 38. The bloodworm is an organism that is found in heavily polluted water. The diagram shows where raw sewage flows into a river. Where would there be the fewest bloodworms? Of course, it will be least found in A because it is right here in this area before the raw sewage is inserted. So after the raw sewage is inserted, there will be a lot of bloodworms found in B, C, and D. 39. The diagram shows a bacterial cell. Which part is useful for genetic modification? This is D. 40. Which statement about genetic modification is correct? A says it involves choosing which individual or the organisms are used for breeding. Now this is an incorrect statement because sometimes the genetic modification leads to the organisms breeding with other organisms that we did not choose. So this is not a correct answer. B says it is always done using genes from the same species. Now this is an incorrect statement because the genetic modification is all about creating new combination of genes. It is all about creating new genes. So you have to use different species. Otherwise, you will just get the same species that you have and you will not make a change. C says it produces new combination of genes. This is a correct answer. This is the whole purpose of genetic modification. So our answer is going to be C. This is the end of our exam and this was the last question. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like so you can get more content like this, and good luck with your exams.